Today we're going to talk about developing a TA orientation anytime Canvas course. My name is Amanda Modell. I use she and they pronouns, and I work at the Center for Teaching and Learning. I'm delighted to have some of my graduate teaching consultant coordinaters here to present with me on this work.
Hi, I'm Tarani. I'm one of the graduate teaching consultant coordinators.
Hi, I'm Mariana. I use she, her pronouns. I'm also one of the coordinators for the graduate teaching consultants program.
Okay, so before we get started, I just want to ask everybody, please raise your hand if you've ever completed a teaching orientation or a TA orientation. Okay, please raise your hand if you've completed an orientation of any kind. Okay, awesome. Now think about one word that describes that experience of completing the orientation for you, okay? So just hold that one word in your mind. Okay, there might have been a variety of different words, but today we're going to work through our process of developing this orientation course and specifically taking it from in-person to online.
Yeah, sure. First, I'll just introduce the TAO Anytime. Some of you that already know that Center for Teaching and Learning holds TA orientation every quarter. So we do have them offered every quarter for half-day workshops, and some departments do require their graduate TAs to attend those orientations before they TA. And the learning goals for those in-person workshops are to identify when to do teaching strategies or actions to implement in their teaching context, and to build confidence in their teaching abilities, and to build a community at Stanford around teaching. Then if we have this fabulous TAO in person, why do we want an online asynchronous course? Well, here are some of the justifications. Well, we offer a fully asynchronous self-paced Canvas course that can serve students who are unable to attend in-person TAO. Maybe they have schedule conflicts, for instance, and to offer departments options beyond a quarterly in-person event so that students can register anytime, and to provide a standalone resource to which TAs can return. So whenever they need the slides, they can just simply go to Canvas and pull those slides up. And actually, the class meets similar learning outcomes to the in-person event, which means we want students to be able to identify when to do teaching strategies or actions to implement in their teaching context, and to build confidence in their teaching abilities by the end of the course. However, we are unable to build some community. We hope to. Some of modules try to do that, but these are our two main objectives.
So much. Okay, so the process of developing this online orientation and course was highly collaborative, and it took place over a year with a fantastic team that contributed. We had multiple CTL, Center for Teaching and Learning staff that collaborated. We had 7 of our graduate teaching consultants team, student staff that worked with us, as well as several trusted campus partners. And together we produced 7 modules. I know there was a really rich conversation about norms earlier. One of our online modules is about how to co-create classroom norms with your students in order to have a more inclusive space. And I just want to give a really special appreciation to Kenji Akimoto for fantastic leadership on this project. And also our colleagues at Wellbeing at Stanford who couldn't be here, and the program in Writing and Rhetoric who all made collaborative modules with us. And now I'm going to pass to Mariana for some of the preliminary analysis of the data that we've been able to collect on the course.
Thanks, Amanda. Yeah, so the first thing that you might be wondering is, what was attendance like? Did we achieve similar attendance levels to what we might have in person? So you can see here that just judging by registrations in the course, online enrollment was about 2/3 of that of a typical in-person TAO. Now we do expect this number to grow since we just recently launched this Anytime module. And a great thing about Anytime is that traffic just keeps growing, right? So as we keep advertising, hopefully more and more TAs will join. We can also split out this data by attrition. So of those who registered, how many people actually showed up, or to what level did they participate in either the in-person or the online version of TAO. So here you can see the data split out by attrition. So the gray line is, again, the in-person version, And you can see that many people registered, but actually didn't show up, which is unfortunate. With TAO Anytime, this was kind of surprising to me. We actually got lower attrition rates. So still a fair number of people enrolled in the class, maybe kind of shopping, trying to check out, see what's up with this new resource. And a fair number of them started the pre-test and at least 3 modules, which is what we requested of them. And a minority, but a surprising number, actually persisted and did even more modules than we specified. So you see that some TAs actually did 4, 5, 6, even all 7 of the modules that we offered, as well as a final post-test that we asked everyone to complete so that we could see their growth over the course of TAO Anytime. One thing you might wonder is also, just which of these modules did they choose? So here is the list of the 7 modules that we offered. And we asked TAs to choose any 3 of these. Some chose, more than 3, of course. But here they are rated by popularity. You can see that some of these are, maybe more predictable, more logistical things like office hours and grading problem sets. These were highly popular modules. But also our mental health and well-being module was also extremely popular, which I think signals the importance of this topic, especially in today's climate. And it's something that TAs feel like they really need training on. So I think that reflects something about TAs' learning needs. We also have a couple other modules that got lower traffic attendance. I think part of this is that on our homepage, there's a typo, and I think only a couple of these modules were advertised on the homepage. And so some of these lower modules might just be a quirk of how they were advertised. Again, one great thing about an asynchronous course is that whenever you notice issues like that, which are inevitable, you can make changes really quickly. And so we can make sure that that's fixed in future versions of TAO Anytime, and you can roll out changes to the rest of your students very quickly. So you have quick iteration as opposed to an in-person event where any changes might have to wait until the next time you teach the course, if that happens at all. I'm going to skip past this next slide and move on to the question of whether or not TAs actually learn something from this online module. Of course, online teaching, a lot of people are just zoning out. Did students actually learn anything? So like I mentioned, we asked everyone to complete a pre and post test. So the pre-test here, you can see that we asked TAs about their knowledge of teaching strategies as well as their general confidence in teaching. And generally, TAs felt like they had some knowledge and they felt somewhat confident on average. After completing 3 modules, we asked them again to take the post-test, and you can see that there was growth. So TAs generally reported moving up a level to having a lot of knowledge about teaching strategies that they could implement, and also increasing in confidence. So for a fair number of students, they moved from somewhat confident to very confident about their teaching skills. Of course, there's some attrition here that I showed you earlier, so this might be a little bit of an overestimate in terms of how much students learn, but still, I think it's really promising that at least for the majority of students, they really learned something from this online version of TAO. Now I think I will pass it back to, there we go. Now I think I'll pass it back to Amanda to wrap up.
Okay, and so as we hinted at the beginning, there are some existing challenges and future directions that a project like this affords us. One of which is community building, right? We know how social teaching and learning are as pursuits and how integral building a sense of community can be around persisting as an educator. And so what this new project allows us to do is make more data-driven decisions about how we're going to do in-person programming to supplement and augment the online experience. And so, for example, in this pilot iteration, we looked at the data and we saw, okay, where is the most interest and the kind of lowest performance on the assessments. Right, and that's a natural space to have more programming. And in this case, it was around mental health and well-being in learning spaces. And so it's an evolving project, and those are future directions, but then hosting those in-person events to help build this community. And so for takeaways for all of you, if you're thinking about online trainings or moving different aspects of your teaching or your programming to asynchronous models, we did retrofit Canvas to use a licensed product, right? a platform, right, for this course, and it's not really the way Canvas is necessarily intended to be used. And we've been able to launch a successful program. And so moving forward, we're definitely interested in campus partnerships and implementation in different learning settings, and also hearing from the TAs themselves, right, about how this bears out over time and in their own experience. And so we just have some acknowledgments for a fantastic group of folks that put the course together, and we welcome all of you to check it out and talk with us more later in the day. So thank you so much.
Thank you.